welcome back to the channel. Today we got a bit of an interesting conversation about will Power Slap be bigger than the UFC? I got 3 reasons why I might side with Dana as to why I believe that Power Slap will actually be bigger than the UFC. But before we get into that, let's look at, I guess, the interview that kind of started the whole debate. Let's see what Dana has to say.
And I said this before, and I'm going to say it again right now. This will be bigger than the UFC.
No chance. That's
I
how
said
long?
The UFC would be bigger than boxing. No chance.
No, I would believe that.
That's what everybody
I believe UFC would be bigger than boxing.
No, you didn't.
Dana,
No, you wouldn't. Not back then.
Because there's more variables. It's got to be
No
bullshit.
chance you would have.
That's
why
I was asking. That's why. Can't have. How can you have something as an average person that turns on the TV and I watch Power Slap? I'll tell you what I do. Okay, I watch match 1, and it's the same. I watch match 2, it's the same. I watch match 3, it's the same. And I watch 4, it's the same. Somebody gets slapped in the face and they're done. That's it.
Tell me what's the same about each match you watch.
Somebody raises their right hand, they then make direct contact with somebody's face, and then somebody either falls or they don't. That's it.
So what happens when you watch a fight?
You can take somebody down, you can cut somebody's elbow open.
Let's say it's a boxing match. Boxing, which has been popular for over 100 years.
Because,
what's different?
I mean, the athletes are obviously, I think, different.
They're throwing the same combinations.
I'm just saying I could help you.
You can't help yourself.
This
You're gonna help me.
Hey, Dana is wow. Anyway, I got 3 reasons why I side with Dana White. Now, let's just go ahead and jump into number 1. One of the things that make Power Slap so intriguing to everybody, right, is if I ask you this, if I said, in order for you to get into the UFC, you're going to have to do at least 10 years of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or you need at least 10 years of wrestling, right? Because you need to be really good, especially at the peak of UFC right now. So you need to be really good in order for you to make, I don't know, let's just say $30,000, right? Let's say you get on the Contender Series, but it's going to take you 10 years to at least develop a solid foundation in one area where you can stand out in. It's going to take you 10 years. For some, it might take longer. Look at how long Khabib was training before he felt super confident that he was the best wrestler in the world. Long time, right? The reason I say this is because if you want to get into a sport, which I believe that Power Slap is a sport, but let's say you want to get into a sport where you could potentially make money, but you happen to be 30 years old, do you really have 10 plus years to get a black belt or a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? No, you don't, because by that time you'll be 40. This is why I say this. So this guy, his name is Ryan Phillips, 2-2. Ryan is 40. Now, if you saw the last Power Slap, he actually knocked out his guy, who actually was younger than he was. Knocked him out. So the appeal here is age doesn't necessarily matter as long as you can take a hit and your chin is solid enough to endure the hit. As long as you can dish out the hit and you can take it, you can pretty much be a champion here in Power Slap, but it depends on your toughness. And so it's appealing to people of all ages from 18 to probably 45 to 50, right? In my opinion, Power Slap is going to be bigger than the UFC in the near future, just because everybody can get into it. Let's say, for example, myself, let's say I want to get into it. Well, you know, I might have to do some training to get proper technique on slap, but if I'm just mentally tough and my chin is tough, I can take shots and I can dish them out. I can potentially be champion, right? So, and make some good money too. Let's not forget, in my last video, Power Slap is actually going to Abu Dhabi. So that's the appeal to all races, all ages, everywhere. So my second argument would be the viral knockout clips. Those things speak for themselves, right? Guys, watch this. This is what I mean by potential knockout or potential viral clips. Look at this.
Wanted to bring him to the promotion. Talk about making,
I mean, look at this power. Look at the crowds too. So I bring that up, but that's Dumpling, by the way. He'll be fighting in Abu Dhabi October 9th. Watch that video if you haven't. But either way, I bring that guy up because that clip is so crazy. It's a crazy knockout with one hit, and to see that live, it blew my mind. And so I think that's one avenue that can potentially make them bigger than the UFC. That would be my second reason. And my third and final reason, so if you look at MMA and boxing, right, and I hate to put the MMA guys on the spot here, the potential for a match to be kind of slower and slower paced is not very high in Power Slap. And what I mean by that is when you take a fight such as, I think it was Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza. Anybody who go back and watch that fight for highlights, dude, that fight is probably one of the worst fights in MMA history. I mean, I can't think of another one besides Francis Ngannou, the knockout machine. Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis was another horrible fight. Nobody was pushing the action. So when you think about that and how that can sometimes bore people or put people to sleep, Power Slap is one of these sports that's not going to allow people to take their foot off the gas. Like, you have to be 100 all the time when you're receiving the shot or whether you're dishing out the shot. You have to be paying attention. You have to be engaged through the entirety of that match, which means that people are going to tune in to see these viral knockouts and things like that. Everybody says, man, well, what about the CTE and all this, that, and the third? Guys, CTE is going to exist whether it's in football, whether it is in boxing, whether it's in MMA, any physical sport where you're making contact with another human being, it's always going to be the potential for CTE there, because the brain just isn't meant for anything like that to absorb shots, you know what I mean? So it's not as exactly easier to get CTE in one sport than the other, at least in my personal opinion. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like in boxing, you're head hunting, you can hit the body, you can hit the head. You know, in MMA, you can take these guys down. They just legalized 12 to 6 elbows, so you can cut people up pretty bad. There's some nasty kicks in MMA. So the fact that you can get hit in the hand, like I'm just using my hand to make contact with your face to push you out. In MMA, guys, did y'all not see the head kick from around the world? Leon Edwards landed on Kamaru Usman like that. I mean, he got kicked in the side of his head. With his shin. Man, I think no matter what you do, that's a physical sport that people are going to be at risk for CTE and any type of other thing like that. So my simple question to you guys would be, what do you think? Do you believe that the Power Slap community is possibly at one point in time going to get bigger than the UFC? If you don't think so, let me know in the comment sections why you don't believe so. And if you do think so, also let me know in the comment sections why you believe that they are. So without that being said, I'm gonna see y'all on the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.